Hi there. Welcome back to my rainbow room. Last couple of times I did not include that in the intro because I was so focused on what I wanted to say that it just went floop. I do have something I want to talk about today. And it's a bit, I have a lot to say. So, how would you feel if, in order to be recognized as the person you are, you had to agree to forced sterilization before the government would acknowledge you as the gender that you actually are? Can you imagine that? Just really think about it. There are 20 countries that do that. They have been actually, there was the European Court of Human Rights that said that that was, against human rights. It was terrible. It was travesty. But, these countries, they just do what they want. They're kind of like Cartman. I'll do what I want. But here's something that it said, which, doesn't surprise me. It says that the region continue to be mostly violated, and most countries either have no legal gender recognition at all, and when they do, sterilization is required. Except for Croatia. So you have Slovenia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Serbia, Montenegro, and Turkey. They apparently require sterilization before such recognition occurs. And if you're unfortunately in Albania, Macedonia, and Kosovo, you literally have no gender recognition at all, and you're forced to leave, and you have to go to another country to even subsist in life, It's terrible. And what really got me when I was doing some reading is that in America, 0.6% of the U.S. Adults identify as transgender. And the thing is that's the ones that were willing to admit it because there's so much discrimination. They could lose their job if it was even a whisper, and they live in constant fear. Most of the ones I've ever met, have been close to, have known, or dated would report that to me at some point or another, and I just think it's such a small percentage of the population. And, I just try for a moment to put myself in their position. And when I think about it, and I think, how would I feel? I think I'd go a bit mad, honestly, if I felt like I was something that I wasn't, and I had to keep presenting myself as this insincere version of myself because it made the people that ran my government comfortable, rendered, happy because they don't have to deal with transgender people. It's, I think about what they go through, and I've seen it. I've seen the discrimination, and if you have a heart, and if you have, a will to learn and to look for scientific data, you would probably feel sick too. Because, how many times in life do you hear about these smaller groups finding another more marginalized group to start picking on? Why do people do that? Why? I will never understand the people that exist just to cause misery for other people, or if you're in a relationship, they will focus on you and go, oh, challenge, or something like that, and then they want to try to go about causing disruptions. And It's, yeah. So, I have known quite a few people that were transgender, and prior to actually knowing them that well, I had never ever heard of the word transgender in my life. Never. I didn't know what it was. I It was omitted from my childhood, my teenage years up until I suppose my formative years were over, and I'd never heard the term. But the person that I was with, I've been very, I pay attention, and I noticed that there was just something not quite right. Something just didn't, it felt like a facade, you know? And so I asked them, I said, you don't really like being a boy, do you? And it sounded strange to me in a way, but then they looked at me and bless their heart, honestly, they looked terrified. And they had no reason to be with me, because all I had to do was think, how would I feel if I was in their situation? And then, compassion and intelligence and a little bit of education, and you can actually find out what it is all about. And perhaps more people won't be as weak-willed as Dave Chappelle and say things like, I'm Team Turf. I used to laugh at some of his stuff. Some of his stuff was interesting. Some of it was funny. But why, dude? Why? You say the wrong things, and then you're surprised when people within that group hold you to task and ask you to clarify and apologize. But you're just gonna put on some sort of cheerleading outfit and be like, yeah, I'm Team Turf, yay, I'm a jerk. Why? Why do that? Isn't there enough misery in this world? You have to find someone who you think is weaker than, and this goes to anybody that does this, and you just think, well, you know what? I can rule over them. And then they do, and it's terrible. But what is there to be gained by saying I'm Team Turf? Really, dude? I mean, really? It's disgusting. It's just like the woman that wrote Harry Potter. I like Harry Potter, the series. I like the books. I always did, but I won't pay full price for her stuff ever again. I will find it in, a thrift store or something like that. But I don't want to contribute to her very much, because I don't like how she treats people that I care about. And to be fair, I haven't bought anything that would work in that store in so many years, so it's not really a concern, But I wanted to kind of tell you some things here. When I lived in Austin, Texas, and I love that place. Beautiful, beautiful town, honestly. Keep Austin weird. I hope that's still going. It was fabulous. When I was there, the last thing I remember is a guy on a unicycle, and Leslie, the mayor. I don't know if they were ever mayor, but they were trying. But yeah, I miss Austin. But when I lived there, I knew a few people that identified as transgender, and one of them had just been given the short end of the stick, I guess, in life. It was just struggle against struggle against struggle, and I mean, the strength of this person. They could not get hired at a regular job because, here's the thing, if you're trans and you live in America, and pretty much I think most places that recognize the DSM, the way that you go about transitioning is that you have to, and please don't quote me, but I believe it was, you have to live as your chosen gender. I love the way they say chosen, like you picked this, oh well, let's pick another. It doesn't work like that. But anyway, they do that, and then transgender people are like 3 in 5 adults like smoke cigarettes. 1 in 4 suffers from mental health problems. They're belittled. They're treated like absolute crap. Someone I know who I'm very close to, they gave up on being their true self. They gave up on being who they really are. I really want you to stop and think about that for a minute. And you can call me emotional or call me a liberal because I care about this. Yeah, I care, okay? I've watched them go through horrible, horrible ordeals because they had to live as their chosen gender. And so they would have to apply like that. And, you know, it's about hormones, and you have to worry about hair growing in places that, you know, if you're trying to present as one gender and if that starts to show, it can be very awkward. And most mainstream bosses I've ever seen aren't really keen on that. So it makes it harder to get a real legitimate job. And so she just never could. And I saw the, you know, the job applications and well, the next time I saw her, she was on the street corner selling herself. And according to her, making decent money. And then she got into porn. And that apparently was pretty lucrative. And, well, she took all that and saved it up over a few years. And it must have been very difficult in that, being in that kind of cycle, having to, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. But eventually, she was able to pay for her surgery through that. And because of the hormone replacement therapy, she passes now beautifully. I always thought she was beautiful. But she ended up getting a job as a manager in McDonald's. And for her, that was like life-changing. I mean, I watched her just, you know, blossom like this little flower, and it was amazing. She's this beautiful human being, and she just wants to be herself. Why is that so? Why do people make fun of it? Why do people find this overwhelming urge and need to be cruel to an even smaller group than they are a part of? I mean, I would think they'd want to, you know, be more honorable and stand up for those that are suffering, you know, more than they know. It's unbelievable what transgender people have to put up with. I've witnessed some of it myself, though. I don't want to name names, but someone I know very close was invited out with, like, I think it was a birthday party, and they knew that she was transitioning and everything, and they were like, yeah, come on, however you want to show up. And so she did, and she got really excited, and she went to this party. And she said that on the way there, they stopped to get some food or something, and some guys actually got out of a car and started following her and taking pictures of her. And when she asked them why, they gave her this really nasty look, and they're like, you know why. Where's the where's the respect? You know, where's the just common decency of, if you don't like it and you can't say anything nice, then don't say anything at all. We live in a world that's difficult enough as it is, you know, and then you want to make it even harder, like more layers of hard, difficult crap we all have to go through? No, thank you, okay? But I really want you to stop and think about what transgender people have to go through and how weak and evil these people are. That, you know, look at that vulnerability and that cry for help, really, and they just decide, you know what, I'm going to kick you in the face while you're down forever. Because that's basically what they do. They do anything they can to keep them down. At a federal level, there was some law that I think they were trying to pass where they said that if you lost your mind because you were around someone who was transgender or gay, then that person could kill you, and it would be considered temporary insanity. I can't think of a time when I would be that weak-willed, but okay, I hope that there'll be more, that when I go home tonight, there's going to be more comfort and love in this world, because the amount of people that are transgender, that are suffering in this world, breaks my heart. And it's why I stress it so much in the room. I'm like, this is the Rainbow Room. You have a place to sit. It's yours. You can sit and talk with me, and I will answer you as fast as I can. But if I catch anyone belittling another person based on something that they can't change, get out. If I had a restaurant, I'd be like, get out, go on, see you later. There's no room in this world for that kind of hate. It's just no room. We have enough to deal with. And life is hard enough. Can't people just, step off of their ego trips, slow down a little bit, and try to feel what it's like to be someone else suffering? Just maybe. I want so much to see something positive happen instead of the next story I read where it's another transgender person has been murdered. Just stop and think. Learn a little bit about what being transgender is, okay? I mean, again, it's very difficult for the people that I've known as well. I mean, they feel like they can't function because something is like in the way, and it's people's prejudice, intolerance, lack of willingness to flexibility, all these things, but to my last breath on this earth, I am a transgender ally. Just like, I have to speak up for injustices when I see them, and when I feel I can have a reasonable conversation with someone. There's no reason why you have to have a screaming match. Just disagree, have a conversation, and you'd be surprised at the end. But no, instead people want to marginalize transgender people and make them feel even worse. And like I said, I've seen it when I was younger, and I went to the goth club that I like to go to in Austin. It was called Elysium. There was a guy that would go there, and he'd hunt me down, just to dance. There are some countries where they accept a third gender, and I just sincerely do not see a problem with it. Why? I mean, I don't know. I just don't see why it's such a big deal. It's a big deal for the transgender person, yes, but for, some turf over in the corner, why does it matter to you? Is it physically assaulting your life on a daily basis, or are you just being a whining Karen? An inconsiderate Karen. We all have to share this planet. And I mean, considering that transgender people make such a small percentage of the world's population, stop being bullies to them. Okay? Please, stop and think about it. There's no reason to be so mean to people, to alienate them, and they already feel alienated enough as it is. It's inexcusable. And I know you can do better. I know you can. Just read a little bit about it, okay? Inform yourself. And try to avoid the kooks, because there are a lot of them out there that talk about all sorts of things and make it a moral issue. Being transgender is not a choice. It's not a moral issue. It's the way you're born. And there's nothing wrong with that, There's nothing perverted about it. There's nothing disgusting about it. It's just the way you're born. So really, just take care of each other, all right? Okay? Because we have this one planet to share, and I really want to put out things that will help you learn a little bit more. I mean, who knows? Maybe you'll stand up against someone who's being bullied and being trans next week or something, or tonight. Do the right thing. To anybody being bullied, be their support and help them. Anyway, I believe in you. I believe in the UK. I know you guys can do it and you won't disappoint. Come on. Let's come together, try to learn a little bit about all this and just succeed together. I know we can do this. You know? All right. Well, that's about it. It's gone quite long. I will talk to you guys later, and I made these, by the way. They're so cool. These are the Hatchet Girls. Very much a fan. And I definitely had a bee in my bonnet. And you know what? I might have to get some more bees. You know, make like a little colony up there. I'm not wearing a hive, though. That's a bit cliche. A beehive. Anyway. All right. Well, thank you for listening. If you listened this long, and if you think this can help someone, please share it. Share it, and let's get rid of these TERFs. They don't belong. And I know that we can turn some of them around. It's just going to take a lot of work. Okay, I'm going to go now. Kisses, besos. Love you guys.